she cheated. He betrayed me, and I stayed silent until silence became the sharpest weapon I had. This isn't just the story of a wedding that never happened. It's the story of how the two people I trusted most turned me into a punchline behind my back, and how I chose not to scream, but to show everyone the truth. They thought I'd break quietly. Instead, I let the whole damn room watch it burn. I used to think the night before your wedding was supposed to be magical. A little chaotic, sure, but filled with love, laughter, hope. Mine felt like a movie too, but the kind where the audience knows what's coming and the main character is the only one still smiling. My name is Nathan. I'm 29, and I almost married the woman of my dreams, while my best friend wore my clothes and her perfume on the same night. It was our rehearsal dinner. Everything was beautiful, classy, intimate. Chloe had picked the venue, a candlelit, rooftop bar with a view of the bay, strings of golden lights, a jazz trio in the corner. Her dress was champagne-colored, delicate, stunning. Tyler, my best friend since college, gave the first toast. To Chloe and Nathan, he said, raising his glass, may your love always be as real as your Spotify-wrapped arguments. Everyone, I laughed. Chloe smiled. I laughed too. But something in that moment, it stuck in me. She looked at him longer than she should have, and he looked away too quickly. They both laughed, but not together. I tried to ignore it. Maybe I just needed more wine, or sleep, or both. Later that night, Chloe said she was heading up to the suite early. Said she was tired. Too many emotions. She kissed my cheek, told me not to stay out too late. Big day tomorrow, baby, she said. Tyler said he was going out for one last drink at the hotel bar. I stayed behind to say goodbye to our families, take pictures, sign the venue forms. When I finally got up to the room, she wasn't there, which was fine. I figured she was with her maid of honor, or just walking off the stress. I walked past the hallway to her suite, just by chance. I wasn't even going to stop. But then I saw it. The door to her room opened. Tyler stepped out, hair messy, breathless, wearing my hoodie. He froze when he saw me. We locked eyes for maybe 2 seconds, that's all. And in those 2 seconds, something deep in my gut broke. You okay? I asked. Yeah, he said too quickly. Yeah, I was just... She left something downstairs. I brought it up. He didn't meet my eyes when he walked past. He smelled like her perfume. I stood in front of the door, staring at it. Heart in, my throat. I didn't knock. I didn't go in, but I didn't sleep that night either. When someone breaks your trust, the betrayal doesn't hit all at once. It creeps in, like smoke under a locked door. At first, you think you're imagining things. Then it's too late, and the room is already on fire. After seeing Tyler come out of Chloe's room, I couldn't sleep. I lay on the hotel bed, staring at the ceiling, my body frozen, mind racing, trying to explain it away, trying to forgive something I hadn't even confirmed yet. That's what love does, right? It makes you second-guess your own gut to protect the people who wouldn't do the same for you. But the more I thought about it, the more it all started to make sense. The pieces were already there. I just didn't want to connect them. Like that night at the lake house, 6 months ago. We were having a couple's weekend. Me, Chloe, Tyler, and his situationship of the month. After dinner, I went upstairs to take a call. When I came back, Chloe and Tyler were in the kitchen alone. She was laughing too hard at something he said. Her hand was on his arm. Their faces were too close. When they saw me, They jumped apart like guilty teenagers. I laughed it off. Why wouldn't I? They were my two favorite people. The people I trusted most. The people I was going to build a life with. Or the time Tyler forgot Chloe's birthday gift at his place, and somehow knew exactly what perfume she wore, what book she was reading, and that she hated white chocolate. He knew details even I didn't know. When I asked him about it, he smirked. "You talk about her all the time, man. I pay attention." And I believed him, because that's what best friends do. They listen, they support. They don't FAK your fiancé behind your back. But now, I was replaying everything. Every inside joke I wasn't part of. Every accidental text Tyler sent Chloe instead of me. Every time she called him when she couldn't reach me. Every time she said, "Tyler's just easy to talk to. Don't be jealous." I wasn't jealous. I was loyal. There's a difference, and I kept thinking, maybe it was all innocent. Maybe I was spiraling. Until I remembered one specific night, 3 months ago. Chloe came home late, said she was with her coworker, stuck at a client dinner. I believed her. Tyler texted me that same night. Crazy day, exhausted, crashing early. Talk tomorrow. Now I wonder, were they together then too? Were they laughing at me from opposite sides of the same bed? The ache in my stomach that night wasn't paranoia. It was instinct. But I buried it. Because I was planning a wedding. Because I loved her. Because I trusted him. And now, the more I looked back, the more I realized they weren't just a mistake. They were a team. I don't know what possessed me to check the footage. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was desperation. Or maybe it was that tiny voice in my head whispering, "You already know. You just need proof, so you'll stop forgiving them." The hotel had security cameras in the hallway. I knew this because I picked the hotel myself. I'd even asked the manager to keep the footage for safety during the wedding weekend, part of a ridiculous groom-to-be checklist I made. Back then, I was proud of myself, prepared, organized, a man ready to start a future. Now, I was just a man sitting on the floor of a storage office at 6 a.m., hunched over a grainy monitor, asking a sleepy night manager to rewind the footage from the night before. "Just want to make sure everything ran smooth," I said, trying to sound casual. He nodded and walked away. Left me alone with the screen. The hallway feed popped up. I fast-forwarded. 10:45 p.m. Chloe leaving the rehearsal dinner, walking down the hallway. Calm. Alone. She's holding her heels in her hand. Pause. 12 p.m. Tyler, walking down the same hallway, wearing my hoodie, looking over his shoulder. He stops in front of her door, knocks once. The door opens. Chloe's hand reaches out, pulls him in. The door closes. Timestamp, 11:13 p.m. I stared at the screen for a long time. Frozen. Like if I didn't press play, it wouldn't be real. But I did. And what I saw next broke me. They kissed. Right there, just inside the doorway. No hesitation, no guilt, like they'd done it 100 times before. Like it wasn't even a question anymore. I didn't watch the rest. I didn't need to. I had what I came for. Not just a hunch, not just a feeling. Proof. I walked back to my suite in silence. I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't text them. I just stood there in the mirror, still wearing the suit I wore to the dinner, and whispered, "You picked him." I kept whispering it, over and over. You picked him. Over me. Over this life. Over everything we built, and Tyler, my best man, The person I trusted with the ring, with the speeches, with me, he picked her. Together, they picked betrayal. But I still had one thing they didn't know about yet. I had the footage. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just sat on the edge of the bed, holding the flash drive like it was a detonator. Because it was. By morning, I knew what I had to do. Not a text, not a private breakdown, not a runaway groom story whispered behind closed doors. They didn't deserve that. No, they deserved the same audience they fooled. They deserved applause when the curtain fell. The wedding brunch was at 10 a.m., a final toast. A room full of people who thought they knew what love looked like. I walked in late. Tyler was already there, laughing with Chloe and her parents. She wore white. He wore the same grin he always did when he thought the room belonged to him. I walked up to the microphone the hotel had set up for speeches, tapped it once. Everyone turned. "Morning," I said. Calm. Too calm. "Before we raise, a glass. I'd like to share something." Tyler looked confused. Chloe tilted her head. "Planning a wedding teaches you a lot," I continued. "About timing, about details, about who people really are." I pulled the flash drive from my pocket. "So last night, while some of you were sleeping, others, ye were awake, making choices. Choices I think everyone here deserves to see." I nodded at the hotel staff. I had already prepped the AV team. 5 seconds later, the projector screen flickered on. The footage started. The hallway, Tyler knocking, Chloe opening the door, the kiss, gasps, whispers. A wine glass dropped and shattered. I didn't look to see whose it was. I didn't move. Chloe stood frozen. Tyler turned a sick shade of white. My voice never shook. That was taken at 11:13 p.m. while I was writing my vows. While I was thinking about how lucky I was to have both of you in my life. The room was silent. So no, there won't be a wedding. There won't be cake. But there is truth. And sometimes that's enough. I put down the mic. No yelling. No crying. Just silence. The kind that wraps around a room and squeezes the air out. Tyler followed me outside. "Nathan, wait, don't. Just don't." Chloe didn't follow. She didn't need to. She knew she'd already lost. And for the first time in this entire nightmare, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel broken. I felt free. They always say that. It was just once. Like, that makes it better. Like compressing the betrayal into a smaller box makes it less lethal. Tyler caught up with me in the hotel parking lot. Breathless, pale, eyes wide like he was the victim. "Please, Nathan, I swear it wasn't like that. You kissed my fiancée in her hotel room the night before our wedding," I said flatly. "How exactly was it?" He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Just guilt, raw, unpolished, and a little too late. "It was a mistake," he finally whispered. "It just happened." "How many times did it just happen, Tyler?" "Once," he said. "I swear. That was the first time. We were drunk, emotional. It was the pressure of the wedding." I laughed, loud, unhinged. "You were drunk at 11:13 p.m. on a Tuesday." He flinched. I stepped forward, inches from his face now. "I watched you knock. I watched her pull you in. You weren't drunk. You weren't confused. You were comfortable, like you'd done it before." His silence was all the answer I needed. "How long?" I asked. He didn't answer. "How long, Tyler?" "About a year." The air left my lungs. A year. While I was picking out rings, while I was writing poems for our Save the Dates, while I was asking him for advice on the proposal. He and Chloe were sharing me, taking turns lying to my face. I turned away before I did something I'd regret. "I need to talk to Chloe," I said. "Nathan, please." "Go home, Tyler. You're not the best man anymore. You never were." Chloe was still, in the brunch room, surrounded by the wreckage of our almost wedding. She looked up when I walked in, mascara smeared, face pale, lip trembling. The dress that once looked like forever now looked like costume. "Nathan, don't. Just tell me one thing. Did you ever plan to tell me?" She looked away. I thought about it. Before or after I said I do. "I was scared," she whispered. "I didn't want to lose you. You already had." She reached for my hand. I stepped back. "I would have forgiven a mistake," I said. "But this wasn't a mistake. Nathan, I love you." "No," I cut her off. "You loved having me. There's a difference." She broke down, right there in front of everyone. And for the first time, I didn't rush to comfort her, because I finally understood. They weren't sorry they betrayed me. They were sorry I caught them. There's no word for the moment after a wedding dies. No ceremony. No sympathy flowers. No calls from relatives offering casseroles, just silence and the echo of what could have been. I checked out of the hotel without saying goodbye. Didn't pack properly, didn't return the suit. Left the ring in the minibar like it was a forgotten tip. I turned my phone off for 2 days. When I turned it back on, it was flooded. "Chloe, please talk to me. We owe it to each other. You're still the love of my life. Tyler, I messed up. I'll never forgive myself. But maybe one day, you will." Blocked. Both of them. I didn't need apologies written in lowercase. I needed peace. I spent the first week in bed. No lights, no talking, no food that didn't come from a microwave tray. I couldn't watch movies. They all had weddings, or best friends, or lies disguised as love. I kept asking myself, was it me? Was I too boring, too trusting, too blind? But those were the wrong questions. The truth is, when two people betray you together, it's not about what you lacked. It's about what they lacked the courage to face. The worst part wasn't losing Chloe. It was losing the life I pictured with her. The mornings, the music in the kitchen, the house with a crooked fence and a dog named after. A Marvel character that life never existed. It was theatre, and I was the only one who didn't know I was playing a role. Friends tried to reach out. Some asked, what happened? Some said, I never liked Tyler anyway. Some stayed neutral, the Switzerland friends. The we're not taking sides friends. I let them all go. Because when your whole world burns down, you realize who was holding matches behind their back the entire time. I started journaling again. Something about putting pain into words felt like reclaiming it. First entry. They betrayed me together. That was their love language. Second, trust is expensive, and I spent everything on the wrong people. Some nights I still wake, up, heart pounding, dreaming of wedding bells. But I'm not crying anymore. I'm just healing, slowly, like pulling shards of glass out one by one. And one day, when the bleeding stops, I'll learn how to hold love again. But this time, I won't hand it over without a receipt. It had been 3 weeks. I donated the wedding decor, deleted the joint Pinterest boards, shoved my tuxedo into a donation bag I still haven't dropped off. I thought I was finally stabilizing, still broken, but not bleeding. Then I opened the wedding folder. A thick manila file buried under receipts, RSVP lists, seating charts we argued over for 2 hours. That's when I found it. A folded sheet of white paper, no envelope, no signature on the front. Just a single word scribbled in Chloe's handwriting, draft. I unfolded it and read the words that shattered me all over again. Tyler, I don't know how to do this anymore. I feel like I'm drowning in lies. I don't love Nathan the way he loves me, but I don't want to destroy him. I keep hoping the universe will find a way to let us be together without me having to say it. Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm a coward. But I love you. And if I could rewind everything, I would have chosen you from the beginning. Please be patient. Let me get through the wedding, and then we'll figure it out. I promise. I read it 3 times. Each time felt worse. This wasn't a one-time slip. It wasn't heat of the moment lust. It was a plan. A promise. To him. She never intended to marry me. She intended to leave me after. She would have let me say vows. Let me cry at the altar. Let me look into her eyes thinking I'd won, knowing she'd already chosen someone else. I dropped the letter. I couldn't breathe, and suddenly the grief came back, but not for her, for me, for the version of me that trusted, that believed, that dreamed, that man. He died with that draft. I sat on the floor holding my knees, feeling nothing and everything, and then I said it out loud just to hear the sound of it. They were going to let me marry a lie, and for the first time I didn't cry. I smiled, because now I knew the truth, and truth is power. I went back to the venue, not to mourn what could have been, but to reclaim what they tried to take from me. Dignity, voice, truth. The same rooftop where I was supposed to marry Chloe. The same place Tyler stood beside me like a brother. Now empty. Perfect. I brought 2 things with me, a bottle of champagne and the speech I never got to deliver. I stood at the altar, alone this time, but not lonely, because I brought every memory with me, every lie, every look, every second I was made to feel small, so they could pretend they were innocent, and I spoke, not to them, to myself. Nathan, you loved hard, you trusted fully, you gave people the best parts of you, and they turned it into strategy. But that ends here. You don't need revenge. You don't need apologies, because you didn't fail. They did. They gambled your heart like it was theirs to play with, and they lost something they'll never find again. You. I poured the champagne, 1 glass, to me, and I raised it, to the version of me they never deserved. Then, I pulled out my phone, hit record, and stared into the camera. Hey Chloe, hey Tyler, I hope you're watching this one day. I hope you finally see what you threw away when you traded loyalty for lust. You didn't just lose me. You lost the man who would have loved her without question, and the friend who would have forgiven you, even when you didn't deserve it. I smiled. Cold, clean, final. I hope you're happy, because I finally am. I ended the recording, left the speech folded on the altar, and walked out, no hesitation, no second glance. They tried to break me in private. I rebuilt myself in public. Let them live with the silence. Let them explain the story when it follows them. I'm not the broken one. I'm the survivor of 2 people who destroyed their own worth, and I didn't walk away empty. I walked away whole.
If you stayed to the end, you didn't just watch a betrayal. You watched a comeback. Drop this in the comments. He walked through fire. And leave a fire emoji to let me know you're part of the real ones. The ones who don't flinch when the truth burns. Share this with someone who forgot their worth. Because here at Drama Chronicles, we don't just tell stories. We take everything they tried to bury, and we build our crown out of it.